Hi there, I'm First Warn 5 meteorologist Mike Nicco. We've been tracking severe thunderstorms in the metro now for almost about an hour or so. These pulse-type storms, let me put this into just show you what they've been doing. I'll run it here for the last hour, and you can watch them pulse up and then collapse. And then you can see the outflow boundaries, those lighter greens that are moving away from it, those mini cold fronts that have heavier air that lives this warm, moist air and creates more thunderstorms. So what we're dealing with right now is we still got a thunderstorm for Jackson County. You can see it between Independence, Raytown, Blue Springs, and Lee Summit, right on the 7470 connector. That's the one that's still under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15. What does a severe thunderstorm warning mean for this particular storm? Is near 60-mile-per-hour winds and possibly hail up to an inch. Now, the only place we've really seen hail reported more than an inch was this cell out of Shawnee, which started this whole domino or this whole chain of events that's happening over top of the metro. That one had almost 2-inch size hail. So we're getting up between a golf ball and also up to egg size hail. Now that outflow boundary, it kicked off a severe thunderstorm warning for Platte and Jackson and northern Wyandotte County. But you can see as soon as that one went up, there was a little bit of gray in there, a little bit of hail possible around Argosy Casino. It's just one of the bigger landmarks in that area because it's not a very densely populated area until you get just a little bit farther north of the river up towards Parkville. But I haven't heard of any reports of hail in Parkville, which is good. And this thing kind of just fell apart. But at the same time, up here just south of Smithville near Farrellville, really close to the airport, we had another one pulse up and create some hail there, which could have been up to about an inch and also around 60-mile-per-hour winds. But all of these warnings are now over. These storms have reached their maximum. They are collapsing now, and we're going to turn most of our attention over towards Blue Springs, Raytown, Independence. In fact, you can kind of zoom on down there and take a look at what's going on right there. I don't see any hail signal there, and I do see some red in there still, but this one looks like it's going through the same cycle. Luke, what are you seeing?
Well, yeah, you see that little green line that comes by, that outflow boundary?
Right.
That caused it to like peak. And then right after that, they're going to start to come back down. So if you get hit, and that's what these things are going to do, they're going to be these little, kind of confined, not moving, basically parked out thunderstorms. They're going to get strong. By the time the warning is out, I mean, you've got like 5 or 10 minutes of that they're severe, and then they already start their diminishing process, and by the time the warning is done, they're usually long since below severe limits. But they come up quick, they die quick. These things are just like bam, bam. That's how they go. Not a big tornado risk, and we just want you to know anytime that there's a severe risk, there's severe weather, it's in Kansas City, it's in the surrounding area, we've got you covered. We're going to have your back. We're going to be here on streaming, on our digital channels. We want you to know you've got a place to come and know what's going on with the storms. That's what we promised to you. So essentially what we see here is this. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in pockets, some hail. We saw up to the size of golf ball hail earlier. We've only seen that once. That was over at like 57th and Quivira with a storm that's long since gone. That was over by Shawnee. But Mike was talking about these northern cells. These ones up here, this one by the airport in Parkville, they are still interacting with that boundary. Watch that. See, what I mean is this. Watch this little green line come through. This little outflow right there. That's from an old storm. So the storms that die pop off new storms. And that's what we're seeing here, right there by the airport and Parkville. So if you've got a flight tonight, this could briefly slow things down. Not severe, but these don't look too far from it. In fact, while we're here, let's just see if there's anything kind of funny business is going on. A little bit of hail that is showing up here near the airport, just kind of northeast of the airport. So heads up, it's this little spot right there. It's not much, but it's developing, so something to keep an eye on. And winds, we want to check the winds here. We've not seen tremendous wind out of the storm so far today, up to 60s possible. I've not seen that on my end. On the radar end, the gustiest winds right now is that little pocket there north of Parkville. That's probably like 40, 50, something like that. Okay, so while we're on winds, let's go over here to the actual severe warning. And if we did have severe winds, watch that right there. So the one that's racing up there toward Independence, it's not much. I doubt that is severe. That warning, let's see, it goes until, I believe, 7:15. Yes, so the one that's in central Jackson County, so Here's Blue Springs, there's Lee's Summit, there's Independence. We're in central Jackson County, Missouri. This severe thunderstorm warning goes for about another 6 minutes or so. I don't think it's severe any longer. Let's check the hail on it. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I'm not even seeing hail on my end any longer. If we were to loop it, let's see if we can loop it. Yeah, there you go. You can see how it did. This is a great example. Watch that. Flare up right there just southwest of Celsa, the 470-70 interchange, and right where they meet up, and then that hail's gone. I don't think this is severe at this point. One more thing while I've got you, and Mike, if we could, something else that we probably want to check is we encourage, if you're on our Facebook stream, ask questions, send comments, anything that you want to know, we're here to serve. We're here to answer what you've got. We're going to go through the forecast here too, because this is just the first of a stretch of wetter weather that we want you to know about. So yeah, that's the severe risk for now. Watching the game, so I'm sure a lot of you are concerned about the Royals, and we've got storms all around. So far, so good out of Arrowhead and the K. So there's the stadium right there. We've got storms to the northwest. We've got storms to the east. They're all around, but so far we're doing okay. So we'll just keep an eye on that. And what typically will happen is whenever you get that main boundary to come through and these storms kind of flare up, they do tend to that saps the atmosphere a little bit. So we may get some more kind of moving south and west. We got those are the main zones that we'll have to watch, but this is kind of firing everything off on the backside. Then once these are done, you're likely done on the backside. Wow, what are we at here? This is Little Blue Parkway. You can see this is some nasty driving. If you get stuck in this, I mean, it is coming down. Again, these are stationary. I'm not even tracking them for you because there's nothing to track. The storms are stuck. They're stationary. But that's what you'll be dealing with if you're going to be out on the roads tonight. Again, if I had a flight, give yourself lots of extra time getting to the airport. So with all that, Mike, let's go to you, see if you've got anything coming through on chat or Facebook questions or comments. And then whenever we get back, I'll give you a breakdown of what's coming. So what you got, Mike?
Just seeing a lot of questions about something coming their way or what's going on right now, like nothing in Nevada. We appreciate that. Thank you, Dan Penner, for that. Chelsea Davenport says Platte City, it's currently thundering. And that makes sense because of that storm that is just down to your south and east, down 29 there between Smithville and Weatherby Lake. So it doesn't look like it's heading your way, but there's a possibility that outflow boundary just moved through Platte City, so maybe you're going to be okay. Let's see what else we got in here. We've got Todd Sims, no rain right now, and OG. So we're looking. A lot of people are just kind of tuning in to see what's going on because they've been outside or they've heard the thunder and they want to make sure their area is okay. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. We've been watching the hail tracker. I've been doing the same thing, and you can see it's not all that impressive, but it doesn't have to be all that impressive for a little bit of damage. It can be up to a quarter size, maybe even golf ball size for some damage. I want to get this out and take a look at what's been going on with these storms. And you could just see, really want to look at the rain. That's what I'm curious about, is because these things have just been sitting in one area, what exactly are they producing as far as rain totals out there right now? And like the one over Shawnee that brought us the first report, possible an inch of rain out of that storm. And you know, with these storms, Luke, going up and coming down within an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, that's pretty intense rainfall right there. The one, let's go to the one over near Blue Springs and Lee Summit, where those two come together, where 470 and also 70 come together. And we're seeing, not much rain there, but I know that's going to go up a little bit. There we go. You can see about a half an inch. So we're looking at some much needed rain in some areas. And here's an area we haven't even talked about between Rayville and Oric. Some pretty good rain there. And we also had a little bit of a hail signature over here also. A strong storm there, but it wasn't warned, was it? So even though that storm had some pretty intense hail coming out of it and also some pretty intense rain. So right now we're just looking at these storms, waiting kind of for the sun to set. Once the sun sets and we lose the heat of the day, These boundaries will become a little less active. But if you remember back to last night, I had quite a light show down where I was up until about 10, 11 o'clock because those boundaries south of the city kept staying active. So that's something we're going to keep an eye on for sure. But right now, it's 7:15. Once that one goes, that's the last severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, send them to my house, though. Give me some of that rain.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
my yard would love it. We are just super dry since the start of August. So Mike's right, though. Generally, when the sun, the reason why these storms fired off at all is because we got to 93 degrees today. It's hot. Think of a hot air balloon. Hot air rises, and that's causing the atmosphere to rise. You get these updrafts, and then storms fire off. And then when the sun goes down, we're cooling down, and they're less likely to try to pop off. So we're not going to be up all night tracking storms. What we do see is that right there is leftover from earlier, whenever there was a severe thunderstorm in this area. And think of a storm as like a vacuum sweeper. It's sucking everything up real fast, and it shoots up. It hits a ceiling that that's a lid in the atmosphere. It's called the tropopause. It hits that, and it fans out, and you get that. That's your anvil cloud, all right? Now, in order for that to happen, your cloud has to be really tall. Look at these. They're not doing that anymore. These right here, they're going up that high. They're not even reaching to the ceiling. So that tells me that there's a weakening trend. So we do still, track the weather by looking at the sky. It tells us a lot. So here's our radar again. Mike was just breaking this down. I'll stay on this for just a sec because there's going to be a lot of us that don't get rain tonight. These are awfully isolated. Right now, scattered thunder, we just dropped the warning. The last of the warning's gone, no longer severe. We'll keep tabs on this one right up here by the airport. Nasty little cluster there, though. Good, healthy rain. So what's the plan going ahead? First off, this evening storms are spotty but heavy, so we've been first warning you about that, so hopefully you're not caught off guard. We try to give you a heads up about this one, and we want to give you a heads up that it's not done. We go to Wednesday and Thursday, we've got more waves of showers and thunderstorms. Now, there's not currently an official severe risk on either day. Wednesday, though, has a shot of an isolated strong storm or two. It doesn't look likely, so we'll watch that. And it's not going to rain constantly. I don't want you to get the image that we are going to have rain all day Wednesday and all day Thursday. There's going to be a lot of dry time between the showers, a lot of dry hours between the showers. As far as how much, this is big picture. This is not if you get stuck under one isolated thunderstorm like we have today. Big picture wise, a ½ inch to an inch widespread, kind of KC and north. Maybe even some of you get up to about 2 inches there south of St. Joe, northwest of KC. South of I-70 is probably going to be a little bit less. This is looking through Friday. It'll be about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch. Temperature-wise right now, it's still warm. I mean, we're in the 70s if you've got rain. We're near 90 degrees if you haven't. And the rain chances this evening, again, up to about 9. I need to update this graphic, but the first one drops at 9. And then we're going to be dry once we get, most likely, overnight. It's not impossible, but chances are really low after the sun goes down that we do much. So, for the bus stop tomorrow, it's a dry start. It's a beautiful morning. 66. It warms quickly, so we'll be in T-shirts and shorts, enjoy the summer weather while we got it. Take the umbrella, though, because on the way back, it's a different day. Wednesday afternoon, this is our storm zone again. So the best chance is going to be between 2 and 7. Before the storms roll in, it's almost hot again. We're 88 degrees. So first warn, though, 2 to 7. If you've got plans outside, you're driving back home, you've got practice tomorrow, we may be doing the same thing again. 88 the high tomorrow in KC. Some of us could even be near 90. Now, on the 7-day, let me time this out. This is the first warn future radar and how it could look for Wednesday. We'll try a different way. There we go. All right, so your morning looks good. There you go, 3 o'clock. See that? See a little pink? That's one of our computer forecasts telling us, hey, that could be a strong storm there. But generally, a line of storms coming through. Notice our chances here, about 60%. We'll call it mid-afternoon, and it may linger into the evening. Let's see if we can get this to play out. There we go. 6, 7 o'clock. The bulk of it moving out, but you may still have some around on the backside. So after 7 o'clock, we should start to be seeing a lowering trend. Now here's Thursday. Thursday is actually our highest rain chance out of everything because it's probably going to be the most widespread. The morning looks to be spotty, but we've got rain around even in the morning. Then it looks like a bit of a lull. The driest part of Thursday is probably late morning, early afternoon. Then Thursday, late day, here comes another more widespread round. And that may actually linger into the night. We've got to watch this because 9 o'clock is our KCTV tower lighting ceremony. Light up the KCTV 5 tower. It's a big deal for us. One of the tallest freestanding structures in the world, right here in Kansas City. We're going to light it up on Thursday. By Friday and into the weekend, the reason why we've got this extended stretch of wet weather is a slow, just barely crawling along storm system overhead. It begins drawing away on Friday, so Friday's not in the clear, but isolated is the word. And temperatures coming down. We're back into the 70s due to rain and clouds. And then the weekend, it's pretty far away. Something else could try to sneak in, but right now it looks generally dry. Saturday and Sunday, temperatures in the low 80s, and then fall starts next Monday, and some more isolated storms are possible. There's a big front that's going to come through right on the start of fall, and that could spark storms, and then it cools us back down by next Tuesday. So there's the lay of the land with the forecast and what we're looking at as we go ahead. Mike, with the warnings having dropped out, let's take one more look at the radar, and then I think we'll cut everybody free, and we'll break back in if we need to, if we see anything that's severe and we want to let you know about. But I think take us home, Mike.
All right, let me show you the radar. Yeah, and as Luke mentioned, you don't see any yellow, you don't see any red, no severe thunderstorm warning, no tornado warning. The only thing I'm really watching right now is this line right here is an outflow boundary from about Belton, Harrisonville to Urick, and that is an area that could possibly see some flare-ups over the next 15 minutes to a half hour or so. If this does flare up, it'll be the same type of storms. They'll pulse up and then they'll rain themselves out and possibly hail themselves out. But it's going into an area where the temperatures, as Luke mentioned, were in the mid-90s. So that's why I'm just a little concerned that if we have a flare up on an outflow boundary, it would be this one. Not necessarily this one south of Blue Springs and Odessa. That air's been worked over. There's one backing its way down 35 towards Lenexa, Overland Park, and Olathe. That one's running into some worked over air also, so I'm not really too concerned about that one. But that's the only thing that I think could really trigger any more showers and storms. Plus, you know, we're coming up on 7/21. The sun is almost down. The temperatures are starting to cool. The buoyancy in the atmosphere is starting to lower. The balloon, as Luke mentioned, the hot air balloon is not as hot, so it's not going to rise as easily. So we're seeing definitely a trend of quieter weather coming at us for the rest of the evening. But do you want me to show, just kind of show this real quick, Luke? I know you went over everything, but just kind of give everybody an idea of what we're looking at tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a preview and just a kind of a ramp up. And I did this in the afternoon. I did it hourly because I just really wanted to highlight the 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock time. The storms are going to start sooner tomorrow. They're going to be more widespread. There's not a severe hint from the Storm Prediction Center, but as Luke and I were watching today, we saw that today could have had severe weather just looking at the ingredients. And then sure enough, at 11:30 today, the Storm Prediction Center did upgrade us to that marginal, which is a 1 out of 5. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again tomorrow, especially if we get in the upper 80s, Luke.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, Mike. We saw it on our First Warn Future radar that we could have a stout storm or two. So for now, everybody's good. We're in the all clear for severe weather at the moment. We will watch it, though. We will keep you posted. If storms get nasty, if they get dangerous, if they get severe, we will break in. We will let you know. In the meantime, look at the views. So far, so good out at the K. Fingers crossed it stays that way. Fingers crossed you get some rain at your house as well, just without the drama. We'll be watching. Have a good night.